Pablo Picasso. He once said, it takes a long time to become young. And, I think a lot of us know what that means. We all wish that we could be like kids once we grow up, have that joy and that wonder and that curiosity, and not be all wrapped up in the busyness of our lives and not miss the moments that are fleeting by. And it's a funny thing because that quote was on a card that I gave to my dad a couple of years ago for his birthday, 2015. And I remember picking it out, not because that was his truth, but because it wasn't. He, more than anyone else I have ever met, and I think more than anyone I will ever meet, did not postpone joy. And long before there were lifestyle coaches and our yoga instructors telling us to live in the moment and to be present and to not postpone joy, he didn't. He never did. And that's what you hear over and over and over again about my dad. From when he was, is this cutting out? Can you hear me still okay? From the moment, he came into the Cruz family, I think, his older siblings would say he was just fun. And not fun on a superficial level, just truly just extracting every bit of marrow and joy from life. And I think that's what makes us all so miserable. Joe lost him. So, I will forever be grateful to him for that. It is truly, I don't even think he meant to instill that in us. It maybe wasn't intentional, it just was. That's who he was. And I know no matter any disagreements or family drama or anything, that resonates with all of his kids and with his family. And that's his legacy, truly. It just kind of dawned on me. I'm like, that's it. And it's not just words. It's the truth. It was his truth. So I have some amazing recollections from my Tito Jr., my dad's oldest brother, again, who could not be here, but he, with his youngest daughter, managed to get these thoughts together, even though he was in the hospital. So amazing, and I'm so grateful. A reminiscence of a kind-hearted genius. An accidental phone call. A few days before Wally's passing, I was idly scanning my cell phone screen for a recent call when Wally's name slowly came into view, and he was trying to reach me. I answered the call, and his response was, "Are you calling me?" And I said, "No, I was not. But I was just getting ready to call you with the same question. Are you calling me?" This was followed by loud laughter. Our conversation continued over the course of 45 minutes. We spoke over a wide variety of subjects because usually our conversations were very fun-filled with connotations and content that kept us howling and laughing. It was all in good nature and so true, especially with regards to family, friends, and classmates. When we said our goodbyes, we didn't have any fixed time as to when we would talk again, and that's the important thing. Wally and I may have only talked once or twice a year, but we always felt so satiated with good feelings at the end of our conversations, and that served to maintain the mutual feelings that were so meaningful and satisfying to the family. The way this last call came left me with this unique feeling or flavor, like it was a result of chance and serendipity, but meant more. I found myself asking later, why or how did the call happen this way? It brought more of a sense of something that I could not put my finger on, in that it was unusual in the way it came about. Rose, my wife, asked me who it was because of the noise and laughter, adding, "Wally is the only person who can bring out that kind of reaction in you." I said excitedly, "It was Wally," to which she replied, "I knew it!" Wally was still in his preschool years when World War II broke out, and only shy by a couple of years, he showed or manifested his unusual interest in joining us in going to school. First, however, there were some unusual shenanigans that were observed at that period, which reflected some ingenuity. Not just some ingenuity, but some ingenuity with an artistic component too. As it goes in the tropics, it was customary to refresh pillows and other bedroom articles in the abundant tropical sunlight of the morning. Our mother used to line up our pillows on the window sills facing the east and southeast to restore their freshness and fluffiness. Wally never resisted doing something for his own enjoyment. Of course, in this case, it involved rhythmic sounds, movement, and tempo as he skipped and danced across the pillows one by one down the line, knocking them to the ground where they became soiled and in a state where they had to be re-laundered by Mom. To top it all off at this stage, our parents acquiesced to his demand to be allowed to go to school with us. Since he was just barely 4 years old, he could not legally be enrolled in the school, so an agreement was made with the public school officials where he was allowed to attend with us on an unofficial basis, which was called in the vernacular of saling pusa, and literally equivalent to an itinerant kiddie, meaning someone joining in an activity despite not really being a full-fledged member of the group. This way, Wally could be admitted to school group activities without being given credit. This opened his door to many opportunities within his academic endeavors, which he enjoyed beyond description. It was impossible to deny him further credit and admission to appropriate grade levels, and thus was allowed to be enrolled and be credited, but still not be officially part of the school student body. The truth of the matter was his grades were far beyond the highest of the so-called official group. Apropos of the above, he prepared for each school morning in a very diligent manner. He spent the most time in front of the dresser, primping, and was always running late, while the elders, me and our sister Nana, waited in the car. During World War II, the wars were rough and tough on everybody as schools were reopened. Of course, the crew's contingent resumed school. Wally could not be left behind. He continued his exemplary accomplishments, this time as an official, duly enrolled student. He was therefore allowed to accept his due reward during commencement. He was regularly accelerated in his progress upwards through the grades and was in short time in the same grade order of us older siblings. On a side note, he became the first foreign linguist of the family at a young age with his excellence in Nihongo, the Japanese language, which, as you can imagine, caused some frowns. The post-war years were a continuation of the previous years. Wally proceeded to high school and remained the head of his class and graduated valedictorian, walking across the stage in short pants. He was admitted to the State University for his college education. There was a hiccup here at this time because it was pointed out that Wally did not have any long pants, and it's believed that he refused to start liberal arts college in short pants, but acquiesced when promised he would have his long pants in due time. In college liberal arts, he did well academically and began to note his ability to befriend anybody, and in short time there was no lack of friends. He had such a personality that he could walk into a place or dormitory and be noticed right away, especially from those of the opposite sex. Smiley face emoji. He played the piano very analytically and so sophisticatedly. As an example, he would take just one note and he had a way of making it sound off-tuned, yet still part of the music. Then the next bar would get a little more attention from onlookers, and of course, the third bar brought out the crowd around him, the women especially. Wally finished successfully his pre-med education and reiterated his desire to continue on to medical school. At this point, it was brought to his attention that it would be a completely different academic endeavor, as it would require truly heavy and long hours of studying, which might interfere with his growing interest in expertise in the musical sector. He was offered by our parents to consider attending the Conservatory of Music School, which he turned down and said with determination, "I will be a doctor." He embarked on his medical educational pathway. Before long, he had discovered that his temperament did not allow for spending long hours of studying, reading of subject matters like anatomy, embryology, ad libitum, and the boredom, which has been the downfall of many before him, became a real threat to his continuing success. This required heavy and constant counseling from elders and ultimately led to an agreement that Wally would devote more time to his studies entirely and cut down on his social activities. The family always believed that he could be a great doctor because he possessed the intelligence, potential of learning, and appreciating the true science and art required by the practice of medicine, and of being kind, understanding, and empathetic of patients who were afflicted with serious diseases. While music soothed his hurt and hardship, so to speak, through the course of his educational journey, he could not substitute it one-on-one if he really wanted to become a physician. He was asked how he felt about his admonitions. Wally accepted them, and it was him and nobody else that would ensure his eventual success, and we all stood behind him. He finished the requirements for the MD degree, went on to Minnesota to join me, continued and finished his graduate training in internal medicine, cardiology, and became a very successful, well-respected practitioner of the art and science in his chosen career. Wally in his journey exhibited the trait of, quote, whatever your undertaking is, or, quote, whatever your interest, do it with a genuine desire, dedication, and determination. Even the outdoor activities he enjoyed, like fishing, golfing, and hunting, he'd do with unmatched passion. Because everything he did was done first class and in the best way that he could. He was nothing short of almost perfection. And he was that. As a genius, communications with other beings who may be wanting in clarity or understanding, not necessarily in medical terms, were sometimes difficult. This was how most geniuses are known to do, but they mean no intentional harm. It's just that geniuses have always had their preference or capability of communicating profound thoughts in their own way, always, albeit not perfect. Wally will always be remembered as the kindest person who did not know how to hold any negative feelings or grudges and vindictiveness in his heart against anybody that he may be accused of, as he was incapable of that. As when he was pressured for answers regarding something in these areas and could not give a desired reply, his reaction was simply to clam up. In closing, all in all, we will always remember and love Wally as the ultimate practitioner of his chosen career in medicine and in music, wherein even a single note played attracted the admiration of his followers. And a man who will always appreciate the true meaning of nature's beauties. In addition, there is no doubt that the true extent of love for all of his offspring was there to behold, admiring and continuing throughout his life. Wally, may you rest in eternal peace. Junior.